Welcome to the Coparenting Conversations podcast, brought to you by the Center for Divorce Education. With renowned psychologist Dr. Donald Gordon, we will delve into the complex world of co-parenting during and after divorce and separation. Join us as we explore some of the emotional, legal, and practical aspects of parental breakups, helping you navigate this transformative journey with wisdom and guidance. Whether you're currently going through a divorce, contemplating separation, or supporting a loved one in their journey, the Center for Divorce Education is here to empower you with knowledge and offer you a roadmap towards a brighter future. The information presented in this podcast is intended for educational purposes only. The presentation of this material is not intended to constitute mental health therapy or to diagnose mental health disorders. The presentation of this material is not intended to constitute legal advice. Participants are encouraged to discuss specific legal questions with a licensed attorney of their choice.
Welcome back to the Co-Parenting Conversations podcast with the Center for Divorce Education. We provide online parenting classes for divorcing and separating parents. I'm your host, Jaimie, and today I'm joined by Mike Eubanks, our operations manager here at CDE. This episode is actually a special one. So every day, parents take our Children in Between online course, and at the end, we survey every parent. 2 of those survey questions are, what were the most helpful and useful things you learned in the course? And would you recommend this course to other divorcing or separating parents? And these aren't just feel-good questions. They are part of the formal feedback we collect each month to send the family courts around the country. We actually do read these parent survey submissions, not just to track satisfaction and demographic trends, but to really listen to what parents are experiencing. What we're sharing today comes straight from last month's survey batch. Mike, you want to start us off?
Sure. So this month, 94% of parents said yes, they would recommend Children in Between online to others. That's an incredible statistic, and it says a lot about the impact that this course is having on parents. Right. So today, we're going to read through some of the most thoughtful, heartfelt, and impactful comments from real parents. You'll hear in their own words how these tools are helping them communicate better, stay calmer, and support their kids through one of the hardest transitions that a family can go through.
Right. We'll also take a moment to explain the parenting strategies they're talking about. Skills like self-talk, I messages, stop, look, listen, so you can understand what they are and why they work. So let's get into it. One of our most transformative skills we teach in Children in Between online is self-talk. It's exactly what it sounds like, learning to guide your own thinking during emotionally charged moments. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, self-talk helps you calm down, stay focused, and choose a response that protects your child's well-being.
Yes, and parents really connected with this. For many, it was the first time they've been introduced to this kind of self-awareness in the middle of conflict. So some of the comments included, self-talk will be a big part of my communication with my co-parent moving forward. Another was, I learned how to calm myself down before tough discussions with my co-parent. The self-talk and I messages, those were huge for me.
Right. Yeah. So it is a small shift that has a big ripple effect, not just for the parent, but for the whole family. So when a parent learns how to regulate their own reaction, it sets a new tone for conversations, it reduces tension in the household, and models healthy coping strategies for their children. That one moment of self-control can ripple into calmer mornings, smoother handoffs, and a more emotionally secure environment for the kids.
Another major skill that is taught in the course is called stop, look, listen. It's a 3-step process for de-escalating conflict, and it starts with something deceptively simple. Hitting the brakes, taking that pause. So stop. We put on the brakes and don't say or do the first thing that comes to mind. To help you stop, you can do whatever works to calm yourself. Count to 10. Take several deep breaths. Imagine a peaceful place. Reframe the situation by thinking of an innocent motive for what the other person has said or did. Look. Right. Consider a few different ways that you could respond. Think through the pros and cons of each. Choose a communication skill that you've learned. An I message, active listening, Any of those skills that help reduce stress and increase mutual respect in the conversation. Listen, tune in to your better nature and take the high road. Give the other person the benefit of the doubt to avoid getting emotionally hooked. Treat them the way you would want to be treated.
Right. And it does sound simple, but the power is in the pause. That moment of reflection creates space for better choices and fewer regrets. For many parents, this one technique became a daily strategy. Here's a few examples. Learning how to stop, look, and listen helped me reframe my thoughts about my co-parent's behavior before I said something I'd regret. Stop, look, listen reminded me to take a breath before responding, especially during text arguments. And it really helped me understand my child's reaction during transitions, how I could stay calm and listen better, or a few of the feedbacks we got.
Yeah. It's a skill that helps de-escalate heated conversations before they become damaging. When parents apply it consistently, it becomes a model that their kids can learn from. Children don't just benefit from the reduced tension in the moment, they begin to observe and internalize healthy conflict resolution strategies themselves. So over time, these calm, respectful responses shape the emotional climate of the home and teach kids how to manage their own feelings and relationships.
Exactly. So, next, let's talk about communication. One of the most important tools in the course is the I message. It's a respectful and effective way to let someone know how you feel without blaming them or escalating the conflict. So, what is an I message? We teach parents to say how they're feeling about the other person's behavior and then ask for what they would like. For example, I feel frustrated when your chores don't get done. I'd like us to work out a plan so I don't have to keep reminding you. It's a good one to use with kids. And this skill is incredibly important when dealing with your co-parent and with your children. You can prevent conflict from starting and get your point across without making the other person defensive. In our online program, parents see this skill in action in nearly every scenario that models effective communication.
Right. We teach this in the course through video examples, reflection exercises, and practice questions. Parents really took it to heart. Some of the comments about iMessages said, using iMessages helped me explain how I feel without blaming. Learning to express how I feel using iMessages instead of accusing the other person helped me avoid fights with my co parent. I never realized how saying you always made things worse. iMessages helped me stay calm and be heard.
Right. And clear communication is like giving your co-parent a roadmap. It helps you advocate for yourself while still protecting the peace. So when you're clear and respectful about your needs, it reduces the chance of misunderstanding or defensiveness. It also builds trust over time, and that's essential for navigating parenting decisions, especially when emotions are high. With consistent, thoughtful communication, both parents are more likely to stay focused on what truly matters, the well-being of the children. One of the most eye-opening parts of the course is the section on brain science. We talk about the amygdala, the part of the brain that triggers fight or flight reactions, and how that can hijack a conversation before you even realize what's happening. When the amygdala takes over, our ability to think clearly and communicate effectively can vanish in an instant. That's why understanding this process is such a game changer for many parents.
Yeah, parents told us that just understanding what was going on in their own brain helped them feel more in control. I love these comments. The best lesson was about the amygdala. Understanding how our brain reacts to conflict helped me make sense of why I was getting so triggered. The part about how the brain functions and what you can do about it was powerful. So yeah, I love that parents really got into this section.
Yeah, those are great comments. And what we teach isn't just theory, it is practical. Parents learn how to notice when their amygdala is starting to take over, how to activate the part of the thinking brain using deep breaths, self talk, and other calming strategies. It gives them tools to prevent escalation and to model emotional control for their kids. And that one shift, learning to regulate your brain before reacting, can change everything about how conflict unfolds in the moment. So, to wrap up, we want to share a few general reflections. These don't fall into any one of these categories, but they speak volumes about how the course resonates with real people in real situations.
Yeah, these parents weren't just checking a box. They were absorbing the lessons and reflecting on their role in the co-parenting relationship. Some shared how the course validated their efforts. Others felt it opened their eyes to behaviors that they hadn't recognized before. And that's one of the big things that we hear all the time from folks who take the classes. I had no idea I was doing XYZ and it was hurting my kids.
Exactly.
We get that all the time. So some of those comments, it reminded me to be careful with my words and to continue advocating for myself and my children. The videos were easy to follow and the scenarios felt real. It gave me perspective on how my communication style affects my children and how I can make better choices going forward. I appreciated seeing both bad and good examples. Sometimes you don't know how things come across until you see it played out.
And I love the ones where, they recognize how their children are involved in all of these skills can help their kids too.
Yes.
And this kind of feedback reminds us why we do this work, because people can change and because kids deserve peace. These aren't just abstract lessons. They're strategies that parents are applying in that moment, often under very difficult circumstances. And when even one of those tools helps diffuse a tense conversation or keeps a child out of the middle, it makes a real difference.
Right. So we hope that hearing from these parents gave you a sense of what Children in Between online is really all about. It's not just videos and jumping through hoops and checking off a box for a court. It's a skills-based course designed to make everyday parenting under stress just a little bit easier. Research shows that skills-based instruction, where parents actively practice and apply communication tools, is far more effective than information-only learning. That's why we focus on real-life scenarios, using practical techniques, and helping parents build new habits that they can use immediately.
Yeah, and even more than that, it helps protect your children's emotional health. The skills we teach, self-regulation, respectful communication, not putting the kids in the middle, are all grounded in decades of research. But the real proof is in what parents are telling us.
So if you are a divorcing or separating parent, or someone who is, stop by our website. You can go to divorce-education.com and see all of our course offerings. You can see tons of free resources to help you. The Children in Between online course is affordable, court approved across the whole US, and it actually really works.
And thanks again for listening to Co-Parenting Conversations. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend. Until next time, be kind, stay calm, and keep your kids at the center.